Now it should be recording everything since we've got
Able
the other.
We didn't make any free Japan. I don't know, commissioners.
So
Do we,
technically, since we didn't have a quorum, we kind of have to go back to the agenda and approval and start from there. Unless you've got 4 commissioners in the room. I thought David Chan was off.
Oh, we only have 3 in the room.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna have to go all the way back to approval of the agenda and start from scratch.
Accurate in that.
Yeah.
Paxton.
Yeah.
Verify if if the commissioner is present, if that constitutes, or he has to be able to hear and see.
Yep.
Yeah, you could see us here, but we could not hear you. That would not be Commissioner Rowland, Commissioner Teoflak, and Commissioner Lawrence, who was on. They were not present in that meeting.
All right, then. So we'll skip the call to order and the pledge of allegiance and go on to the approval of the agenda here at 7:35.
So moved.
Second, moved by Vice Chair Rowland and seconded by Commissioner Fernahoff. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say the same. All right, ayes have it.
Just one quick note, somebody may want to give Mark a call and let him know that that you guys got it working, and if he wants to jump back on, he can do so.
We will take that under advisement. Onto the consent agenda. Claims vouchers totaling $1,230,787.11 and payroll summary and authorization for October 2023. Chair would like to entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Moved by Vice Chair Rowland and seconded by Commissioner Fernahoff. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, it's nay. All right. Onto approval of meeting minutes for September 22nd, 2023, special meeting budget workshop, October 3rd, 2023, regular meeting, October 10, 2023, work session, October 17, 2023, regular meeting. Chair would like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes. So moved. Moved by Commissioner Kinney. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Commissioner Fernahoff. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. 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 All those opposed say nay. All right. I can turn it off.
Oh,
I can't turn it off. Why they can't hear? On to public comment. We had one, but they have left the building, so we're on to the fire chief's report.
Good evening. Well, I've got a couple slides. Did you guys saw the slides? Quick update. We have an open house tomorrow night at Station 20, starts at 5:30, goes to 7. I believe that's the last open house for the year. Commissioners' attendance is always appreciated. Veterans Day, there's a parade in Mill Creek, Friday at 11 o'clock. They also have a commemorative ceremony at 9 o'clock. I will be at the commemorative ceremony at 9. If any of the commissioners want to participate in the parade, I'd ask that you let Melissa know that you want to attend, so she can let Leslie or Shawnery, or I'm not sure who's actually leading that effort at the parade, and make sure that you have a seat and places to go and all that. I think we have 3 rigs: Airlight Unit, Engine 76, Medic 76, and Battalion 21, I believe. And so if you would do that, that'd be greatly appreciated, so we don't miss you or don't get you into a rig to participate. We hate to do that. You go to the next slide. We had one of the Edmonds Japanese sister city visited last week. The mayor and the city staff asked us if we would take them around to the new training center up in North County. And we did that. There were 16 delegates, including the mayor of the city that was here, myself, Chief Maxwell, Chief Isotelo, Chief Wells, Director Hines, and PIO Christy Bailey, I apologize. We're up there. It was a great event. The great thing about it is our new recruits are up there doing vet prop. So there's a lot of things happening with that. And the other half of the group was doing live burns in the burn building, which was just great for them to see. And they asked lots of questions. We were able to explain, you know, how we do it and the collaboration that's gone on and the quality of cadet we get when they get to us and hit the street to be able to provide service to the citizens we serve. And I would say everything I just said, they won't remember any of that because we hooked up a fire hose. AJ Johnson, one of our captains, who's a CO up at the training academy, and every single one of them flew water. And that's the only thing they're going to remember because they all got pictures with it. So great event. It's always fun to be able to do that with the sister cities from you know, most of our cities have a sister city, and we've done this before. And for us, it's fun to do and fun to let them know what we do and get their feedback. The last thing is staff along with board, some of the board members attended the Commissioners Conference up at Tuela Casino. Director Collin was up there, myself, Melissa Blankenship. I want to say Commissioner Farnoff, Commissioner Daniels, Commissioner Kenny, and Commissioner Chan were up there. And then Chief Maxwell was a short notice replacement for a speaker. We talked about this where if you haven't heard him do his human factors, human performance speech or lecture or presentation, it's worth it. And he was a short notice speaker and did that on behalf of the commissioners. It was well received. I did miss, if you look on the slide, Sub County hosted our first emergency preparedness expo last Saturday. We did it in partnership with our partner cities, Briar, Edmonds, Linwood, Mill Creek, and Montlake Terrace. The event was at the Northwest Church in Linwood. The participants were given bingo cards to take around and get signed off by all the other 27 community partners that were there. The reason we put it up is to let you see who was actually there and was part of the expo. Very well received. Staff estimates there's between 175 and 200 people that participated in the expo. And we had exceptional feedback for those that attended, to include not just the attendees, but the partners that were there. And sharing information with the public on this topic is always, at this time of year, it's timely. And I think based on the feedback, you know, our citizens actually want that kind of information. So I would see that we did our inaugural preparedness expo. I see this being an annual event for us moving forward at the success of that. And so with that, that's all I have for you tonight, and I will pause for any questions.
Commissioners, questions, liaisons?
Just
Go ahead, Vice Chair Rowland.
I was just to say, just a quick comment. I think the only thing that we didn't have covered that would have been nice is flood awareness, because right before the event started, man, it was pouring buckets, but it did come out nice in the end, and we had a lot of people show up, and it was a great event. So thank you guys for all the effort in putting it on.
And I guess I'll add from staff's perspective, having commissioners participate in those events is again always appreciated from staff that puts that on, and the ability for them to see you there, and the fact that the commissioners and the elected body supports that effort once again is always appreciated from staff. So thank you for those that attend.
Well, I know that flood insurance is done through FEMA, and FEMA was there, so. Thank you, Chief Eastman, for the report. On to the legal report with Attorney.
Over the last 60 days or so, we've had a pretty busy month with the legal reviews. We've reviewed contracts for the RFA. We've done policy work, preparing things that might come in front of the board some future date. There's been labor and employment work, procurement work, finance and consolidation issues that have come up, and we have monitored a few ongoing litigation matters. I'm happy to get into any of that if the board has questions on what we've been doing, but that was what I was prepared to report for tonight.
Commissioners, any questions? Liaison? No, hearing? Thank you, Matt. We will go on to our union report. Looks like we have both of our VPs. You guys flip the coin.
I'm gonna go. This is Justin. Good evening, commissioners and staff. We don't have too much to report. We've had several of our members attend a few educational seminars over the past month since we last saw you guys. We went to a conference in Boise for a couple days, and then had a few educational one-day classes here that were held at the Union Hall in Everett Fires Union Hall. So other than that, we spent some time doorbelling and sign waving in support of a few of your campaigns. And I know that Matt touched on this at the last meeting of last month, but just wanted to let you guys know, just tell you thanks again for your support in the United Diagnostic screening that we had. I think a little over 200 of our members go through. So they've been calling and giving us results, and so far we haven't heard of any bad results, but yeah, that was a pretty cool thing that we were able to participate in. So thanks again for your support on that. And that's all I've got. If anybody has any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Just over 200. That's about 2/3 of your the representative staff.
Yep.
Any questions, commissioners, liaisons?
I just, from my perspective, a hearty thank you to all the union members for all you did for us in terms of the campaign. Well done. I know there was a lot of effort out there, so thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, VP Pickens. On to unfinished business. Board deliberation of Chief's preliminary 2024 budget for discussion. Commissioners, liaisons, any further discussion?
Talking about the budget,
Yes,
do we have anything presented to staff?
nothing further than presented, but without any further conversations. Questions? It's open-ended.
Well, I guess I do have a question.
Okay.
It's a little. We don't have a copy of the budget. Packet materials. So, but I was thinking of a question. I thought that you missed something related. Mr. Bothwell, I guess we're a little surprised, pleasantly surprised. One of the PowerPoint screens that you presented, I can't remember last meeting or the meeting before. You included the rollover items from last year that were chief add-on items, chief or staff request items that were approved, were rolled over into the budget, but for approval this time in the 2024 budget. So items that were approved this time last year, the 2023 budget rolled over and are again for approval in the 2024 budget. I recall us having a conversation about that. You indicated, yes, I just hadn't seen that before. I was pleasantly surprised at. But do you have that list of those items?
I do. It's in the budget book. I mean, I don't have it ready to share. Do you want me to tell you what? There's only like 5 items. I can tell you what they are.
Actually, if we could bring those back to our meeting next Tuesday.
Sure,
That might
absolutely.
be better for all of us if we have it in one spot, because I did want to talk about those. Perhaps, Chief Eastman, you'd be prepared to talk about those, or at least answer a few questions about them also. That way we're all on the same page and ready to at least spend a few minutes, indulge me with a few minutes next Tuesday, talking about those items, because I didn't want to get to the third meeting of the month and surprise it.
We'll make sure we'll look at those and make sure that, I know one of those items falls under Sean. We'll make sure they have the appropriate people here to have good dialogue with almost all.
Are there any changes from what we talked about at our last two meetings? Any economic changes, any other budget changes from staff?
So there's one change. So next week I'll bring the budget package. I was gonna give you the update. The only update that I really have at this point is that we did get numbers from the county, some an updated projection from the county. The annexation numbers are good now. They're not set, but they're better. And also the new construction numbers. And so we got a positive increase to property tax of about $300,000 as a result of that. That's really the only substantive change that's come out since the preliminary budget was released a little over a month ago.
That's positive.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I had.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Kenny. Anyone else? Okay,
So, so if there's any other items. As people go that, or as the board looks at it, that are, and specific things you want to talk about that staff. That you want us to know so we can come and be prepared. Most of the stuff that's in the budget, we have really good understanding of what's going on and what's in it, why it's in there. Why things worked and all those things, but if there's a specific item, I guess I'd like to, if you could let us know what those are ahead of time, so I can make sure if I need somebody else here, I make sure the right people are here if that's the case, right? Otherwise, I think myself and CFO Bothwell are very comfortable talking about the budget, what's in the budget, the rationale for things in the budget, but if there's something very specific that any of the commissioners or any of the liaisons have specific questions about, it would be, if you can send us those ahead of time, if you think about it, I can ensure that if we need to have additional staff to make sure we answer those questions thoroughly for you, leading up to the last meeting in November, where we're intended on passing the budget and everything associated with it. I want to make sure staff gives you all the information you need, to make an informed decision on our budget. So, that, thank you.
all right, thank you. On to the revenue strategy for discussion with Chief or CFO Bockwell.
Thanks, Chair. Good evening, Commissioners. This is the topic that we've been discussing for several meetings now over the past several months. I just have two quick updates for you. And these updates are based on your feedback from the last time we discussed this topic. The first one is related to capital. The last iteration of the long-term revenue planning, we had included capital in there in 2025. We had said that we were going to take a look at the CFP, the capital facilities plan and the funding strategies, and determine whether or not we needed to make any changes or updates to that in anticipation of going to voters in 2026 with a capital bond. We got some feedback, and as a result of that, we took that out and added a couple things back in, or a couple changes were made. The first is that the detailed 2024 schedule was updated to add revisiting the capital facilities plan and funding strategies starting in 2024. There aren't, the subsequent steps after that are no longer in the plan. So we don't want to kind of get ahead of ourselves, is kind of the feedback we got. And so those were taken out. There is on the calendar, an item in 2026 called consideration of capital levy. And that was noted on the calendar, just because that's our next viable opportunity to go to voters with a capital initiative. But we're not saying we're going to do that. That was just kind of a placeholder to let everybody know that that's kind of what's out there. So we sort of softened the capital piece, and the details of that are in your packet. The other update was to the guiding principles. And what we did here was just clarify the purpose of the guiding principles. So a statement was added that the purpose of the guiding principles is to provide a framework for future financial forecasts and milestones for alerting the board of upcoming revenue sufficiency maintenance needs. And so what we wanted to do here was just make it very clear that this is not a policy. This is just telling us as staff when we need to come back to you and alert you to certain milestones related to revenues. And so those are the two updates. The current or the updated strategy is in 2024, and this is just as a reminder, this hasn't changed. To go to voters with a 10-year benefit charge renewal, and then in 2027, go to voters with an EMS levy renewal, and then the guiding principles again are down there, but they're unchanged. And so for next steps, we are looking for the board to approve this strategy, and then we'll begin implementing it. And the implementation is just us being able to basically calendar the next steps on this to bring this back for the board. And I just want to be clear that the strategy approval, this isn't, we're just asking you to say, yeah, we talked about this a lot. This seems like the right way to move forward. This doesn't commit the board to any future action. It just lets us know when we're going to be bringing things back to you and what those topics are, established in a timeline. So those are the updates. We are looking for action tonight if the board would like to take action on this.
Mine only goes to 56 to 75. No, I was looking for the,
Page 73 is the guy is.
yeah. Commissioner Kenny.
Yes, Mr. Buffalo, I did have a question for you. I thought we did talk about it, and maybe we talked about it on one of the earlier iterations, kind of this long-term planning calendar, but one of the sources of funding for South County Fire that is not on your proposed list is the fire levy. And this chart, your chart goes out 5 years. I be a little surprised, are we really gonna wait 5 years as that drifts down? Before we consider an EMS, I'm sorry, not EMS, but levy lift on the fire. I was wondering if you could comment about the fire levy, because obviously I see the EMS levy.
Yeah, that's a great question.
The fire.
So of our significant revenues, it's the one that's not listed here. And the reason is that we have about $7.5 to $8 million of bank capacity that we still would need to take before we would want to go out for levy lift. So our levy, so to your point, if AV continues to increase, we would see our levy rate would degrade over time. But if we're using that bank capacity to come back up, so, and that is more than 10% of our current levy that we have capacity for. So that's the reason it's not listed here. We have a mix of all these other things going on. It's possible that within 5 years we want to go out for a levy lift, but it's not imminent the way the other ones are, and there's no expiration on the general fire levy. Because we took a recent kind of haircut on it when we got the benefit charge too, it's a little higher, a little closer to its limit than the others are as well. Like the EMS levy has degraded significantly lower than the general fire levy, particularly if you add the bank capacity back in.
So you would be thinking that along the way, every year, every other year, at least some year or years in there, we would be using the bank levy capacity to essentially recharge the levy and bring it back up on me.
Yeah, it's an option. It's out there and it exists without voter approval. So, I mean, obviously the revenue mix is something you all vote on as part of the annual budget process, but it certainly exists where we don't necessarily have it with the EMS levy and it needs to be renewed. So that's why it's shown and the general fire levy that is not.
Great, thank you.
Vice Chair Rowland, do you have your hand up?
Yes, just asking the question if CFO Bothwell thinks it's premature to pass a funding strategy when the budget has not yet been approved, or should we wait until we approve the budget and then have this as the next line item just to make sure that they align? Any thoughts on that?
That's a great question. So I don't think it's premature to do it now. It really doesn't impact the current budget. The revenue mix for the current budget is, I mean, unless there's more discussion that you all want to have about it that hasn't been brought up to date, I think that it's pretty solid. And I think that one of the things that I think timing is really important. So if you look at the calendar for 2024, we're coming to you within the first several months of the year to initiate a conversation about public hearings and renewal of the benefit charge. And I guess from my perspective, we get really busy kind of doing year-end things in December, and there's holidays and all kinds of other stuff going on. I think it makes sense for us to adopt it now, provided that the board feels like they've had enough conversation about this. And we started this conversation back in July, and I think I've been in front of you, or the group's been in front of you speaking about this particular topic for several months over several meetings. And I think my perception is that it's been refined to a place where hopefully the board is kind of satisfied with it and ready to move forward. But certainly if you think that there's more discussion is needed, then I would pause. But I don't think that there's necessarily a tie-in between the budget, this current budget that we're working on, and this plan. If that hopefully answers the question.
Should this be modified if we needed to in the future?
100%, yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
It's a starting place.
Vice Chair Rowland, does that satisfy your question? All right.
Yes, that's fine.
Thank you. Any other questions, commissioners, liaisons? All right, with that being said, Chair would like to entertain a motion to approve the tax revenue strategy to provide a funding plan for future periods. By Vice Chair Kernahan. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Kenny. Any further discussion? No appearing. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries.
On behalf of staff, thank you very, very much.
Yeah, thank you.
On to committee updates. Commissioner Chan has an excused absence, and so we're on to intergovernmental. Commissioner Fern.
No intergovernmental updates at this time, but Chief Eastman and I will talk tomorrow about some developing things.
Okay. Still 911, we have a finance committee meeting tomorrow, so that'll be the next meeting that's coming up. On to commissioner comments here at 8:01.
Good question. I didn't see it, but you just mentioned it, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Chan wanted to excuse absence from meetings. He's traveling. Excuse absence. Yes.
That's what I said, it was excused.
Right. I just want to be sure you kind of said it as a passing comment. I want to be sure that was clear for the record.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I had meant to mention it earlier.
No, that's
on
fine.
an agenda and it slipped my mind.
I just figured that's one of those things where I slip into commissioner comments. Just, I don't know where else it would flow very well on the agenda.
Fair enough.
Anyone else? Liaison Todd.
I want to say thank you to the crew from E76 showed up on our trunk or treat, or our treats on Main, I think is what we call it now, event. And I sent a couple of videos to Melissa just now, but I hope she considers those out in the future. A lot of fun to watch all the kids, all the junior firefighters are waiting for the fire truck to show up. They'll swarm around, and the guys that were there did a great job handing out candy. First time we've done this by closing Main Street and having this trunk, so that people decorate their trunks, and it's a safe place for kids to come and get their candy from 6 to 8 p.m. 27,000 pieces of candy we purchased, and it's all gone. And we're trying to figure out how to do a head count, and it turns out that I think that the guys from Engine 76 did the best job of counting. One guy gave out 5 bags, one gave out 6, one gave out 8. And so 8 times 150 pieces per Costco bag means there was about 1,200 kids that went past that particular firefighter. We figured about 3,000 attendees overall. So a really fun event, a nice night, a little chilly, but people had a ball. So it was a fun event. So thank you to the guys for always great to have a fire truck, and very, very enthusiastic people. And if these videos come through, it's kind of fun to see how they kneel down and talk to the kids and comment on their costumes. Just fantastic. So thank you to those guys.
Thank you, Liaison. Anyone else? Vice Chair Rowland, you have your hand up.
Yes, so I'm actually down in Florida right now, attending remotely. My mother was involved in a very bad motor vehicle accident, and she's been in the ICU for a few days. Not completely out of the woods yet, but hopefully will be shortly. I'll be attending next week's meeting remotely as well. I just wanted to, at least on the record, put a thank out to down here Lake County Fire and Rescue for responding to that incident. They were wearing their seatbelts, so they were safe. The driver of the other vehicle was not wearing a seatbelt, and he was airlifted from the scene, is my understanding. So reminder to definitely wear your seatbelts and be careful when you're out on the roads.
Oh, amazing. Build the video. Thank you, Vice Chair Rowland. Do you have anything else you want to add? Thank you. Your hand's still up.
Big crowd. Yeah, there's like 4 little ones in so one of the guys was Happy Halloween, Happy Halloween. He was just like Santa Claus there. I didn't catch all their names, but phenomenal. These guys back trucks in very excellently when everybody's watching and ran up one of our kids that didn't run anybody over. That was good. Positive.
Thank you. Any other comments? I'd like to say thanks to staff for the back together, your efforts, the meetings, support. With that, it is.
Just one more, and that is we have a number. I don't think we announced them. Maybe we did at the beginning, but just a reminder of all the different events we have going on in the area for Veterans Day. Thanks to the veterans for their service, and if you can get out to them, definitely make the effort.
Thank you, Vice Chair Rowland. Chief Eastman.
On that note, I know, I don't know if you're aware of the number of veterans we actually have employed in South County. There's several, more than I thought. If you guys look at our Facebook page, our communications division has highlighted. I want to know 10. My understanding is 10 or 11 have actually responded and given, their history of their military experience to Christy, our PIO, and she's put little blurbs together and is posting on our Facebook page. I think she started yesterday and she's doing them through the weekend. So if you do have access to Facebook and want to look at who in our organization have served, we've never done it before, and I think some of you may be surprised who in this agency has actually served before and what their background is. So if you are on Facebook and actually have South County's Facebook page, and you look at it, I guess I would say, please take a peek and look at the veterans from the RFA that have provided their information to our communications division within the organization, and get a look at some of the experience that we've hired within this organization. Some folks, for not every one of our employees are incredible and have brought great things to the organization. Obviously, the military folks are near and dear to me because of my military background. But some of the folks in our organization have done some pretty extraordinary things with their military experience. So I offer that. It's something new. They're the people we put out in the streets to represent us and take care of the citizens who serve. So information for you to look and get some history of some of our employees that are veterans. So thanks for that.
Chief Eastman, and I see there's 4 total. Yesterday, she started off with firefighter Brittany Atkinson and Battalion Chief Keith Sessions, and also Commandant firefighter Stephen Holm and community resource paramedic Craig O'Neill. So we know of 5, you being a 5th. So
I want to say there's going to be at least 11 that I'm aware of. So just if you're inclined, I think it'll be fun and it's another part of the people we hire in this organization and what they've done. Either currently do, we have several that are still currently active in the Guard and the Reserve, and some that did their tours and their service time and then separated service and came into the RFA. So
have we ever held any special events or anything around Veterans Day or otherwise for those veterans that are in our organization, probably pre-COVID, I would assume.
I'm not so sure we have. I think, there was a point in time where we didn't have many veterans. I think there was a point in time where Craig and I and a handful of others were here and I think we were very content sitting in the background and not doing that. But I will say, I think as I get older, as I have had the privilege of interviewing some of the new folks we're bringing in and some of their experience in the military and the things they did in the military. I don't think that's a bad idea moving forward. I think that's something I'll take back to Director Hines and the rest of her team and see if that's something we want to move forward or do it in partnership with kind of some of the things we do with this, with like what we're doing with the city of Mill Creek. On Saturday, there's the event with the city of Linwood. So there are some opportunities to partner with our partner cities to do something that and maybe be more formal and more out front with that. So I'll pass that on to Director Hines and see, where that goes and what they want to do with it. I think we made a good step this year with Christy and her initiative and doing what she did with Facebook, and I think we can expand from there. So I'll move that down to staff and see what they do and see what we come up with for next year. But thanks for the suggestion.
Thank you very much.
And with that, at 8:10, I go ahead and adjourn the meeting.